The eCom Seller Summit was created to prove that with the right tools and training, anyone and everyone can make money in e-commerce. So many people want to try their hand at e-commerce, selling on eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and more, but they're afraid they won't be successful. This summit will show you that there's many ways to do e-commerce, and there are many platforms you can explore because e-commerce really has no limits. It really can pay your bills, and e-commerce never sleeps. There's nothing like waking up to profits from getting sales all night long. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the eCom Seller Summit.
Hi, and welcome to the eCom Seller Summit, February 2021. I'm Jess Hill, and I'm so excited to be a part of this summit once again. Thank you so much for having me. Today, I want to talk about selling on Etsy 101. So you might be looking for ways to create e-commerce income streams. And by adding Etsy to your e-commerce income streams, it can be a great way to expand your business. So let's dive right in. So, all right, and present. So like I said, I'm Jess Hill. I'm a co-founder of E-Commerce Empowerment. I've been selling on e-commerce platforms for decades. Let's talk about Etsy. It might be one of those overlooked platforms, but I wanted to mention that there are over 50 million active buyers on Etsy every single month. It is a very friendly, community-oriented platform. When we say that, I've been selling on Etsy for over a year now. My business partner has been on Etsy for about a decade. And when I'm talking about that friendly community, I've sold thousands of items with 1 or 2 returns. The customer base is very friendly and understanding. So that might be different than other bigger platforms where it's not as intimate with your customer. The platform itself is very easy to use. The interface is very straightforward. And that's one of the reasons that I love Etsy, because the ease of use is important to me. It's not complicated. I can teach people how to list. I can list very quickly, and it's very easy to use. It makes financial sense to diversify your income stream. So I've been on Amazon since 2015. I've been on eBay since 2003. I'm always looking for another platform to sell my products and services that help me not just put my eggs in all one basket, right? So we talk about that. If you're brand new to e-commerce, Etsy is a great platform to start growing on. So one of my top stores on Etsy since May of 20 through today, I just took this snapshot in February of 2021. So I've generated almost $20,000 in revenue. The profitability of this store specifically is 55%. So when I compare that to Amazon and eBay, it is quite a lot more profit. So when you're thinking about, okay, what platforms generate the most profit, Etsy is a great platform because the competition is much lower and you can find things that you can sell either over and over and over again, like printable products, which we'll talk about. And the products that I have found generate a 55% profit margin, which I really like. So to set up your account, it's very easy. You just need your email address, a bank account, and to pick a store name. The store name can be changed, but like what I like to do is I like to pick a niche and then make my store name relative to that niche, because that's an opportunity. Your store name is an opportunity for optimization. So those are keywords, right? So if you're going to sell cat collars, you might want to say cat collar shop or cat collar store or your cat collars or something like that. I do create separate accounts for different niches with different email addresses. So it just depends on what you're looking to grow. And I always tell my mentoring clients to start with one. I do use some software, which we'll talk about, to help figure out what I want to sell, what is profitable on the platform. But I like to have different niches different stores for different niches. It's kind of like if you were walking into my store, a brick and mortar, I'm not going to have my cat collars necessarily with my craft items, right? Because those two niches are different, unless you have craft items that are specific to making a cat collar. But I'm thinking more of like paint supplies as opposed to my cat collars. Those two don't really go together. So that's why I create the different stores or shops on Etsy. So the types of products you can sell, you might have heard of Etsy and you're like, oh, that's all handmade. I'm not very crafty. Totally fine. By the way, I am not crafty either. I have to use Pinterest every time I want to make something with my kids. That just wasn't in my genetic code. I like to cook. That's what I like to do. And I don't do a lot of cooking for Etsy. So think about handmade is definitely a huge niche, but products that you can buy and embellish. So like a jean jacket, if you're really good at putting different embroidery or fringe or whatever on something that you can embellish. Vintage, anything over 20 years. So we're looking at 2000. If it was made before that, then it is considered vintage. Instant downloads. This is one of my favorite things to sell because I can produce it, I can make it, I can put it on Etsy, and then the listing is up for 4 months for 20 cents. It can sell over and over and over and over and over, and I don't have to touch it again. So I can load up my store with a lot of different instant downloads. We're talking about SVG files, printable planner templates, journal templates, worksheets, homeschooling tools, activities, recipe cards, those kinds of things. Supplies is one of the top selling categories when you do your data research. So we're talking about craft supplies, jewelry supplies, beauty supplies, handmade soap supplies, anything that would help your client, your customer, make or produce what they want. So maybe they really want to make their own jewelry. You can sell the kits to make it, like the rings and the stones, or you can just sell the finished product. You could actually do both. Like if I had a jewelry store, I could sell all of the tools and materials to make the jewelry, but then I can also sell ready-made jewelry. So if I had like it's kind of popping in my head, like a funny charm bracelet with funny sayings or funny trinkets on it. But I could also sell those pieces separately, all in the same store. Print on demand is pretty big for Etsy. So a lot of people will do print on demand t-shirts. That's a pretty big one. So if you have some really great designs or some really funny sayings, you can integrate print on demand with Printify or Printful, some print on demand services with your Etsy store. Then it's no inventory. So if you're looking for business models that you don't have to carry any inventory, that is a great way to do it. Services. So if you're really good at creating resumes or updating different service-based models, you can offer your service on Etsy as well, and you can deliver that to your customer through the platform. So some of the categories that you might want to research. So jewelry and accessories is a big, so when you click on Etsy.com, you'll see a whole bar of different categories. They might have some holiday related categories depending on when you're looking at the website. So we just got done with Valentine's Day. So that was its own category. If you were looking, like if you were a customer, you're looking for Valentine's specific items, they're going to pop that up there. But right there on that top search bar on Etsy, jewelry and accessories, I mean, really, it's endless what you can sell on Etsy. So purses, luggage tags, these could all be personalized as well. Necklaces, rings, earrings, bracelets, body jewelry, hats, headbands, tiaras, sunglasses, eyewear, scarves, belts, suspenders, bow ties, keychains, lanyards, gloves, and umbrellas. So when you're thinking about it, you can have the ready-made jewelry. You can also have all the tools to make these, all of the supplies to make these. Or let's say you're going and you're buying a bunch of different purses and then you're selling them to be embellished, that kind of stuff. Or you could do a custom embellishment. Clothing and shoes for women, men, kids, and babies, dresses, tops, t-shirts, skirts, jackets, pants, sweaters, onesies, socks, costumes, canvas shoes, and boots. All of these things are on Etsy. A lot of them are embellished. I have a girlfriend who takes all of these different high heel shoes and she puts rhinestones on them and she sells them for insane amounts on Etsy. And really the pump or the shoe doesn't cost a lot of money. She obtains them from a wholesale supplier, but then she'll go and embellish them. So like, let's say we had a white high heel shoe, and then she goes and puts red, white, and blue rhinestones all over them. And now she has now repurposed them, and maybe she bought the shoe for $10 a pair. She's now selling them for $60, $70, $80 a pair, but they're amazing. So it's totally worth it. And of course, her time is what people are paying for. Home and living, wall decorations, pillows, picture frames, candles, candle holders, clocks, wreaths, plants, rugs, furniture, bedding, outdoor gardening, storage and organization, office lighting, kitchen and dining, food and drink, and spiritual and religious. Okay, so tons of stuff here, by the way. The wall decorations totally could be printable. There's a couple of stores that I follow that have specific art for children that you can print, and you can go to the dollar store and get a frame, and then you have this custom beautiful piece of art. Specifically, it was a koala that I bought to put in my daughter's room, and it's a printable. You could literally make a ton of printable products, and you don't have to carry any inventory. Pillows, that's something you can do via print on demand. You can put your designs on pillows and have them fulfilled from Etsy or from Printful or Print5. Candles, handmade candles. You can make your own candles. You can also sell the supplies to make the candles. So if you have a candle making shop, maybe you have 20 different scents, but then you're also selling the tools to make it. If your customer said, I would love to make one, for a gift or whatever, you can also sell those kits. Clocks, wreaths, kitchen dining, food and drink, spiritual and religious. Those are all different things that people are selling. Their different coffees, their different spices. If you grow your own spices, organic, heirloom, that kind of stuff, you can sell them on Etsy. You can even sell the seeds for the heirloom tomato plant or whatever it is. So that would be in gardening, and you can sell seeds, and we're coming up on spring, and that's a big one because people want those heirloom seeds, or they want their specific seeds for a specific rose or something like that. It's hard to find. Well, you can sell those on Etsy, especially if you have a huge garden, right? So my mom has actually been selling seeds for several years on Etsy. I'm not going to give out her exact one. So that's just part of that. Let's keep going. Bath and beauty, cosmetics, bath accessories, skincare, hair care, essential oils, fragrances, soaps, bath bombs, and adult toys. So that can be the ready-made product or the supplies. Pet supplies, like I mentioned, collars, leashes, furniture. It's a fun one. Clothing, shoes, costumes, wigs, hats, jackets, hoodies, bedding, carriers, and houses. So all of those things can either be ready-made, that you can have kits, or you can custom, you can personalize it. So for a collar, for example, you might be able to embroider the dog or cat or pet's name, right? You could also emboss collar tags with specific to the pet. My dog's name is Pork Chop, so I could get a bone and have his name and then have my cell phone number on it, just in case he doesn't ever go anywhere, but some dogs do, right? Furniture, this is a fun one because you could actually be making the furniture, you could be repurposing the furniture, you could be making the furniture specific. So I'm just thinking of like hamsters. You could make little hamster furniture or something like that. And of course, clothing. People like to put shirts on their animals and tutus and funny little outfits. Totally selling. If you are into that, I would definitely list it. And the funny thing is you could actually list clothing in pet supplies and then in dolls as well. Like if you were a doll, like my daughter, we've bought some doll clothing for her. So just to think about that, if you're thinking about your keywords. Okay, wedding and party supplies, huge. Invitations, those could be printables. You could create one invitation for a kid birthday. Let's just say it's a 5-year-old birthday. Then you could take that one file, make it a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, different colors. You could literally take one template and recreate it 10 times in 10 different ways with tons of different keyword phrases and publish it and have it sell for all of the kids that are turning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Paper decorations. So you could get some paper decoration supplier and you could sell them. So I really like pink and gold. I would be looking for pink and gold party decor. And you could market that for wedding. You could also market it for birthday. You could market it for baby showers, bachelorette parties. So there's a lot of ways to take one product and market it differently. You can also customize it. Gifts, wedding accessories, clothing, jewelry, baking and cake decoration, all of those things are selling on Etsy. A lot of the rustic, like just what pops into my head, wedding specific, rustic themed wedding accessories. So if you were low on funds and you needed a way to manifest money for cheap or free, you could literally find some pallet wood, find it in your neighborhood, in your maybe. So my husband works for HVAC, and he gets the big pallets underneath the air conditioning units. You get one pallet. You can take that pallet apart. You could sand it down, and then you could repurpose it for some kind of wedding themed, like a sign that put emboss Mr. and Mrs., paint Mr. and Mrs., something like that, where it's really only costing you your time and some basic supplies to generate a business model. I'm telling you that Etsy's great because you don't need a lot of capital. It's 20 cents to list. It lasts for 4 months, and you can be very creative in the way you obtain your inventory. Okay. Toys, entertainment, baby, toddler toys, dolls, action figures, stuffed animals, games, puzzles, educational crafts, slime, and foam. So just note that this isn't like retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. You can't go to Walmart and sell things on Etsy, but you can if you're creating. If you are a woodworker and you know how to make puzzles, or if you are doing some print on demand puzzles where your customer is uploading a picture of their family on vacation, and then you have the puzzle made that with their picture that is 50 pieces or whatever, and you have it printed and then shipped from your print on demand supplier, totally could do that. Stuffed animals, you could be making or crocheting stuffed animals. You could be making little shirts or something that says the child's name as a Christmas gift or birthday gift. Games and puzzles, educational. So educational toys are a big hit, especially if they're wood. Wood toys sell a lot. Crafts kits. You could get those from wholesale supplier. You could put it together. You can show a picture of a finished product, and then it has the craft kit that says, today we're going to be making St. Patrick's Day shamrocks. And then you show some pictures of some already painted shamrocks, or however your finished product looks. And then you sell the kit for that. That's a big one too. Craft, slime and foam, those various different kits. People like to have that. I'm not a big fan of slime in my house because it gets on the carpet, but people like to buy it. Or you can also sell the ready-made slime. That's a big one. Electronics and accessories, cell phone accessories, gadgets, video games, decals, and skins, cameras, and computers. I would do some research before you dive into that. Vintage video games is what you're probably thinking of, but also cell phone accessories. If you can embellish a cell phone, that's what we're thinking of here. Books, movies, music, blank books, calendars, planners, book accessories, children's books, photography books, comics, graphic novels, craft and hobby books, poetry guides, and how-to books and magazines, movies, musical instruments, instrument straps, recorded audio, and sheet music. So there is a lot in the media section of Etsy that you can sell. A lot of these are going to be vintage. A lot of these, the calendars and planners, those can be print on demand. You do not have to keep those in your house and sell. And those can be specific to, like I was saying, cat collars. Maybe I really love cats, or I want my cat to be on the cover of my planner. I could sell a print on demand product where I am taking the customer's photo and putting it right on the front of that planner or calendar. If they submitted several, you could do a calendar that is specific to your client. Books and magazines, those might be some National Geographic books from a while back, those vintage books and magazines, those are on there. Art and collectibles, so prints, photography, paintings in oil, watercolor, acrylic, scripture art, glass art, drawings, illustration, mixed media, dolls and miniatures, collectibles like figurines and knickknacks, memorabilia, coins, and money. So this is a huge one. Like I said, these are some big categories. I would pick one and then start diving in because it is quite extensive what you can sell on Etsy. But the thing is like there's so many opportunities to sell, but the competition is low. You can find your blue ocean, as Russell Brunson says. So for art and collectibles, prints can be print on demand or can be digital. Like you can upload your digital art and have your client print them off with the file, that you do not have to carry that inventory. Paints and oil, maybe you are amazing painter, oil, watercolor, acrylic, resin, glass art, you can sell it on Etsy. So if you're creative and you have your own website, you might want to have some extra sales and drive a little bit more traffic. You can always give a little insert that points back to your website or a thank you card to drive traffic to your website. So we're just trying to get the word out if you're in art and collectibles, and then you can expand your e-commerce income streams. Craft supplies, like I said, home and hobby, woodworking, carpentry, that's a big one. Home improvements, electronics, circuitry, framing, doll and model making, candle making, food and fermenting, floral and garden, jewelry and beauty, sewing, fiber knitting, crochet, quilting, embroidery, cross stitch, paper crafts, card making, stationery, scrapbooking, bookbinding, stamping, origami, party and gifting, visual arts, painting and printing, photography, collage, calligraphy and pens, sculpting and forming such as ceramics and pottery, metalworking and wood carving. So what I'm talking about here is either the supplies, let's say you have an entire store all around woodworking. You're giving them the supplies, but then also if you're doing it, you can still put in some embossed woodworking supplies too. You can do all of it, but supplies is really big because people are looking to Etsy to be crafty too, and maybe expand their hobbies or what they really love. So they might go and procure supplies, especially if you have all the supplies they need and they don't have to go to 4 different stores or suppliers to find them. They're going to buy several different things from you in a kit or however you structure your shop. Vintage, anything and everything made before 2000. So clothing, art, depression glass, anything that'll be considered vintage. So when you're thinking about, okay, Jess, I'm ready. I'm going to dip my toe in. I'm going to set up my first Etsy shop. How do I actually research what is good to sell? Like I'm doing this so I can make money, not just because it's my hobby. So I go right to Etsy and start typing in a letter or word, and it'll start dropping down, right? So if we're talking about cat collars, I'm going to put in cat. I'm going to see what the drop downs are. Those are the things that people are searching, your customer. And then I'm going to put the word collar and I'm going to see what are they? Are they searching cat collar with rhinestone, cat collar red? What colors are popping up? What materials, what sizes? Are the smalls selling quickly? Are the largest selling quickly? What is coming up in that drop down? I'm going to do that for Etsy. And then I'm going to use a software like eRank, Marmalade, and Google Trends. I prefer eRank. It's a great software. They have several different plans, pretty cheap. The top plan is $10 a month. So it's not like you're spending a bunch of money, but it is a great software for mining data to decide on which niches to sell on Etsy. So we're looking at, maybe we pick out 3 niches. Now we want to narrow it down to 1. I want to look at that software and see what's selling well, and then look at what my competitors are doing. You can track the competition, gather keyword phrases, and see how your shop is doing. So once you have your shop up and running, you can load it into eRank and it'll tell you you're in the top 30%, you're in the top 10%, you're in the top 1% of Etsy sellers globally or in the United States. And then you can look at the keyword phrases that are working for your niche, because keyword phrases are what sell your products. Doesn't matter what platform. I actually use eRank for Amazon and eBay and Mercari and Facebook listings, just because it's a really great software for looking at those keyword phrases. If it's selling on Etsy, then it's probably selling on other sites too. So like I said, listing optimization is the act of maximizing for your listing for SEO, search engine optimization. So we're looking at the title, the description, the images, and the tags. So when you're writing your title, cat collar, small, great for cat, Siamese cat, or whatever you are putting in your title, you don't want to just put cat collar. You need to put some keyword phrases that is going to drive your customers' search terms into where your listing lives. Then in your description, we're going to describe the collar. We're also going to pop in different keyword phrases that we're taking from eRank or whichever search software you're using that are specific to my cat collar, right? So if it's a red cat collar, great cat collar for Siamese cats, tabby cats, whatever, and then the specifics like the size and length and stuff like that. And then of course your images. You want to take as many images as possible. I like to aim for at least 5 images that are relative to my product. So if I have a cat, then I can take a picture of my cat wearing a cat collar. And then I can also take pictures of just the collar, it going long ways, how big it is, and then if it has like rhinestones or anything, up close photos as well. Images do help, so make sure they stand out. Advertising. So once you have your listing optimized, you may want to enable Etsy ads. I will say that if your listing is fully optimized, then you're going to probably get some good traffic just from that optimization, but you might want to add some advertising onto it. The better you get at establishing SEO, the better your Etsy, the search results will be with the Etsy ads. So they have offsite ads, they have Etsy advertising, and then of course your Google history is going to play a role into that as well. So Etsy advertising, I typically just do $1 a day for my entire store. If you have one thing that you have a lot of, or one thing you really want to specialize in, you could just advertise for that one thing as well. Prepping and shipping materials. So think about this, because a lot of sellers get really excited and then they're like, oh, I don't have any boxes. Before walking into setting up your shop, you want to have prepping and shipping materials ready. USPS has free flat rate envelopes and boxes. I've also procured boxes at recycling materials from neighbors and friends. Before you list, be sure to prepare for this, because if you start getting sales and you don't have any boxes, you're going to want to get some. So if you are on a budget, you need something very affordable, you can just, what I do is I'll go into the Nextdoor app, if you've ever heard of that, and I'll post, hey, looking for boxes, and my neighbors will leave them out on their porch for me. Boxes or materials, right? So bubble wrap, craft paper, and those bubble air pockets. And they'll just leave them on their porch for me. I have a few people that I pick up from, and then that's free. And then you're also recycling, which is also helpful. So it does not have to be brand new. You can recycle for Etsy. They don't have any big rules about that. So when you are creating your listing, you're going to want to set up your shipping as appropriate. So if you have something very small, you're going to offer free shipping. That's easy. But if you have something like a piece of art or a vintage piece of item, you want to pack it up in your shipping material, weigh it, and make sure that you are accounting for the shipping either in your price or you're setting up your shipping templates. Shipping can be very confusing, but if you have a postal scale, you can weigh your items that is in the packaging and it will be shipped in. You can either use USPS.com to set your shipping rates, or the flat rate shipping is what I use. First class and priority are my favorite. So I have various priority packaging materials here in my office. I use those. I will add that to the shipping for my bigger items. And then also for first class, I usually have free shipping, and then I just put in $3 or $4 into the cost of my product so that the shipping is free, but it's accounted for. So make sure you do that. So once you have everything set up, you've opened your account, you have put in your new shop name, you've listed your first item, you put in your payment information. Now you click list and you have listed your first item on Etsy. So I always tell my mentoring clients, start with one and then rinse and repeat. Do it again, right? So then just make it a goal. I'm going to put one thing on Etsy every week. That's 52 items on Etsy for the length of a year. So then you can get your feet wet and just start making money as you can with your new income stream. You can also share your products on social media via Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. I have also made a TikTok specific to one of my niches, and I have shared videos of my products with fun music behind it and great hashtags. So you might want to explore that. If you are in a reseller group, I would not share it to your personal profile in case you don't want people to steal your niche or your ideas, but you can still share it to Pinterest. You can always create a second Pinterest account if you want, and share those products brands or ideas to Pinterest. So make sure to grab your bonus with the All Access Pass, 10 things you can sell right now on Etsy. So I walk through those 10 items that are the heaviest hitters on Etsy. And then we at E-commerce Empowerment, we have a full premium e-commerce education system available. We teach Amazon, Etsy in-depth training, selling on Walmart, print on demand, Facebook Marketplace, Shopify. We have everything e-commerce related. And every month we also teach a new course specific to the various e-commerce platforms, web development, branding, social media, everything e-commerce. So click the affiliate link to learn more about e-commerce empowerment, your e-commerce learning system. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me at ecommerceempowerment@gmail.com, Jess Hill, or on Facebook, Jess Hill. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of the eCom Seller Summit. It's been a pleasure. Have a good day.